Hare Krishna, Shri Shri Radha Madhava Saki ki jai, Panchatattva Bhagwan ki jai, Rajapur Jagannath Baldev Subhadramai ki, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Hare Krishna. Very warm welcome to everybody for this morning's Japa Yajna. And firstly, on behalf of my leader, I thank everybody who performed wonderfully this Japa lead services. Before I start, let me just see there is some messages. Okay. Um, yes, Prabhu noted. Okay. So let's begin with a very short kirtan. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari. Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayana Namaskrityam Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamutire Nashtaprayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki. Let's move to the today's next part of the program, which is the screen visible?
That time it was visible, Prabhuji, now it is not.
Oh, it is not, is it? Okay. Can someone confirm? Is it?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Thank you, Mataji. So we are reading from today's Bhagavatam class. We are reading from Canto 1, Chapter 10, Departure of Lord Krishna for Dwaraka. And we are in today verse number 21. So 1, 10, 21. Someone, if they are free, can repeat after me. Savai kilayam purusha puratano
Savaikilayam Purusha Puratano
ek asida visheshatmani
Yaekasit Avisheshatmani
agrer gunebhyo jagathatmanishware
Agre Gunebhyo Jagadatmanishware
nimil nimil itatmam nishasukta shaktishu
Nimilnatman Nishasupta Shaktishu
nimil itatman nishasukta shaktishu
Nimilnitatman Nishisupta Shaktishu.
Thank you, Mataji. Word to word meaning, translation, and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. For the sake of time, we'll only read the translation because it's a large purport. They said, here he is, the original personality of Godhead, as we definitely remember him. He alone existed before the manifested creation of the modes of nature, and in him only, because he is the Supreme Lord. All living entities being merged as if sleeping at night, their energy is suspended. Hare Krishna. So, it's over a page of purport. So, as I'll try and cover as many points as possible from Srila Prabhupada's wonderful purport. Again, a great verse. So, before I even start, let me say my prayers and then Seek blessings of all the Vaishnavas assembled here. Roma Jnana Timirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Gadama Khil Dadati Swapadantikam. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vanchakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhyev च पतितनां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद. हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna. Just a moment. Remove all the screens. Okay. Savaikilayam Purusha Puratmano Ek Asiddha Shivesh Satmani Agre Gunebhyo Jagadatmanishware Nimilitatvam Nishasukta Saktisu. Wonderful verse. So, somewhat very similar to the verses of even the Chatushloki Bhagavatam, right? Talking about creation, dissolution, and when all this is happening, I'm there. Okay. So, if you had seen these wonderful verses, couple of verses back, 18, 19, okay, we heard that, when Lord was living to Hastinapur, I'm just setting the context, taking shelter of one or two verses, and then I'll come into. So, many Brahmanas were singing glories, actually blessing Krishna. The entire road was filled with people, lot of ladies on top, and, they were all feeling, very sad. Krishna was leaving. So what is it explaining there? Anurupa Nirgunasya. So they were all, though all this was happening, Lord was not feeling great attraction. I mean, he was quite steady. He was not feeling attraction or repulsion. Now, when it says, however, what was more attractive? When women of Hastinapur were talking amongst each other, it says, Kauravendra Purastrina. Okay. What they were doing? Sarvastriti Manohara. So Krishna was pleased with these talks. Actually, it even attracted Sutta Goswami's attention. Krishna was feeling very pleased with these talks. It says, even, Veda personified. Imagine if Krishna is pleased. Veda personified. Krishna himself found these talks pleasing. So our Acharyas very nicely say, Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, sometimes Vedas glorifies indirectly, but these talks of Hastinapur is a direct glorification of Sri Krishna, right? Even better than Shrutis. So we see many times in Chaitanya Charitamrita also, Lord says, I'm not very happy or with all this opulent worship. Sakaro aranam, sahak saka. When somebody is sitting on me, that makes me more pleased. Okay. So we all remember this pastime, right? Puta, after killing Putana, what was it, right? So Nanda Baba, Yashoda Maya wanted to organize a wonderful yagna, more of a, they had a celebration mood and they wanted to, kind of some purification. So Yashoda Maya, nicely dressed Krishna, changed his dress, nicely decorated him, brought him, sat in front of the yagna. So who are the people doing the yagna? The Brahmanas. After the chanting nice mantras, they were there. The Brahmanas were taken care of them very well. The perfect reception. They were given charity. There's a wonderful verse. I'm just quoting from there in the 10th canto. They were given cows of their choice, such Brahmanas. That means to say the Brahmanas were happy They were chanting the hymns. And what was Krishna feeling like? He started to sleep. Huh? When she placed him, then she said, "Oh, this Krishna, my Lala is sleeping. I'll put him in under the cart." Then you all know what happened, right? So why are we stating this pastime? Okay, just to say that even such wonderful Brahmanas were chanting, the Lord was feeling sleepy. Okay, but even in this ladies of Hastinapur are going to scold Krishna, his ears will be very attentive. Okay, why is this? Kunti Maharani says very nicely in her prayers. Akinchana, they were all like, who doesn't have all this material offered and simple devotees. They have this, mood, bhava. Very simple devotees. However, those who got those, those four things we all know, right? Janma, Ishwarya, Satrashri, very opulent, very aristocratic, all the knowledge, respectable, wealthy family. When they are intoxicated in these four, they become unqualified. They become unqualified for even calling the names of Lord, right? You see in the Purohit these days, they'll come in a mad rush, quickly chant, and while chanting the mantras, they'll be busy with the phone to check the other place if everything is ready, because he has to go and put his attendance there also, right? So that is a kind of chanting Krishna is not pleased. He is not even going to be interested. Okay. So we can probably compare it to our chanting. I mean, at least let me say my chanting, not involved in the bhava. Sometimes we are all ready, more happier than when we finish the rounds, right? We are very happy. Okay. I'm talking of myself. Then later after that, you keep the bag and then you say, when did I feel the bhava? When did I feel like crying? When did I feel like, was I in the mood of calling the Supreme Lord? Was it in the mood of desperation? No, nothing. What is the mood? At least today is like, when is Vadasi break time? That's our mood. So forget putting the Lord to sleep. When we do with this mood, we ourselves will be putting, we ourselves will be sleeping. Anyway, back to today's verse. Who's speaking? The women of Hastinapur is speaking, and they are not in the mood of any finishing, keeping the bag and saying, I am done. My chanting is finished, Prabhuji. Okay, no, they are real interest. The real, what Sanjalpa itself is that, speak. Okay, and they are fully, their Chetana is fully in Krishna, Uttama Shloka, Uttama Purusha, right? So, what does the Lord says? We always should be in thinking of the Lord, Satata Kirta Entomam. But also we will learn that in the eighth chapter, Krishna says, Antakale Shumam Ekam Smaran Mukte Kalevaram. Yaprayati Samat Bhavam Yanti Nasti Atra Samsaya. We all know that, right? So can we remember all the time Krishna? Right? So Krishna again says, okay, so we are used to, I mean, if we have to achieve that, what we should do, we should sit down 2 hours continuously, right? Because we cannot remember Krishna otherwise, right? Even that Krishna says, how do you do that? Abhyasa Abhyasa yoga. Okay, he says, try and do abhyasa, right? We should do the practice remembering the Lord. On whom? Again, what kind of practice? In the next verse, in the same verses, wonderful verses. Kavi Puranam, Anus Sasitaram. Okay? And many, Sarvastra Data, Machintana Rupam, so many details he is giving. So, even in Brahma Samhita, Adyam Puranam Purusha, Navayavanam Cha. So that Purana Purusha, that Puratano we are talking about. So in this verse, very beginning, you can see Srila Prabhupada very clearly is talking about two pralayas, two types of dissolutions, he calls it, right? At the end of every 43,20,000 solar years, when Brahma, the Lord of one particular universe, goes to sleep. Please note, Prabhupada is very clearly writing Brahma, the Lord of one particular universe, is going to sleep. That is one. And the second one is when his end of Brahma's life. That is, all the mathematics students, please get ready. It's like 86, 40 lakh years, crore years, into 30, into 12, into 100 solar years, when it is end of his universe, right? So even, right, when everything is destroyed and what happens to the living entities, they go into Mahavishnu. I'm talking of those only who are left over. Those who are liberated, of course, they have gone to spiritual world. Otherwise, they remain in the body of Mahavishnu. Why? When he creates again, okay. See, remember when we go back into body of Mahavishnu, even Brahma and Shiva remains. Nobody, I mean, they do not remain. Nobody remains. Okay, only Mahavishnu remains. So again, he creates many universes, and then what happens? Brahma takes the secondary creation, and then there later on he requests rather, as Vishnu comes in as a form of Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, and then from his navel this entire thing spouts. Brahma is there, and then after all the living entities are created, what does he do? He prays. He says, please, nothing will happen unless you are going to manifest again. So Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, he comes in every living entity, and then which is what we are all aware of, super soul, and then he helps every activity to kickstart. So the final button, the click, the ignition is the Lord Vishnu himself. So Brahma actually prays. What does he pray? He prays very frequently. Please, I should not get alasya, I should not become lazy, and I should not have pride. So these are the two major problems in our sevas. What is that? One is laziness. First of all, always leader has to call us, please come Prabhuji. And then after we do some little small services, immediately we are in pride, right? Sometimes we take credit for those which we have not done also. So how do we? Brahma is teaching us that even before the seva, we need to ask for prayers. We need to seek prayers, right? So what do we do generally? We start the seva. In between, we have trouble. Immediately start all our remembrance of the Lord. But that's not the way. First, we need to pray. Why are we giving this? The secondary creator himself, even before anything he did, he prayed to the Lord. So I'm sure all of you know these three concepts. It's very, very important to know the three absolute truths that Mahavishnu, Garbhodakashaya Vishnu, Kshirodakshaya Vishnu, right? Comes in and stays as the super soul. So these three Purushas is very, very important for us to know, right? So moving further, Srila Prabhupada writes in the Shruti Manta, it is said that only Vishnu, the Supreme Lord, existed before creation, and there was no Brahma, Shiva, or other demigod. Vishnu means Mahavishnu. In another place, Srila Prabhupada writes, thus Govinda, very important, Prabhujis and Matajis, please listen to this. Thus Govinda, or Lord Krishna, is the cause of Mahavishnu also. Crystal clear. Okay, no confusion, right? So who are they saying these prayers? Different Vaishnavi ladies. The ladies, I was hearing, was very happy to hear Guru Maharaj lecture on this. So, how Guru Maharaj was explaining this, we'll see a few points that we'll tell you. So, the ladies thought that he's going to leave, right? They came out of Hastinapur crying. The thought of Krishna was going to leave. But they were still thinking, isn't it so inauspicious if you cry when someone is leaving? So they were trying to control their grief. So, they were fully aware Krishna was acting as an ordinary human being, but still, what did Krishna do? Krishna came here, he bowed down to Yudhishthira Maharaj, elder cousin, and then Yudhishthira Maharaj embraced Lord Krishna. I mean, I can never forget how Guru Maharaj was enjoying this particular instance. He was laughing loud, right? So, anyway, Yudhishthira Maharaj requested, before that, if you remember that he had requested him to stay for a few more days. Krishna accepted the request, but now Krishna would be leaving. See how much Pandavas loved Krishna, right? They sat with him, they touched him, they were resting with him, they were spending time with him, they were having prasadam with him. The entire treasure, their life asset was Krishna, their life's wealth was Krishna. Everything for them is Krishna. We remember this wonderful song, Bhaktivinoda Thakur. It's also a very dear song for our leader. Nadiya Godrum Nityananda Mahajan Patiyachana Mahat Jivere Koron. In that third verse, it goes like this: Aparada shunya hoi loho Krishna naam Krishna Mata, Krishna Pita, Krishna Dana Pram. So Krishna is your mother, Krishna is your father, Krishna is the treasure of the life. That is the way. And Krishna was the only wealth of all these Hastinapura Nivasis. They were thinking, okay, how are we going to stay without seeing him? How are we going to stay without hearing him? Narada Muni once was searching for a great devotee of Krishna. He wanted to know who is the great devotee. So in this search, he went to different places. He went even to Parikshit Maharaj. And Parikshit Maharaj said, no, don't come here. If you want to know who is the best devotee, go to Pandavas. They are the greatest devotee. When Narada Muni came here, wanted to meet Pandavas. But they were having a very important meeting, very private war meeting. Guru Maharaj says they were having a war meeting, strategy meeting. Okay. What is the subject of discussion? How we can bring Krishna back. Okay. Every time Guru Maharaj was referring to Krishna, he used to say, laughing loud, ha, 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 ha. They were planning to bring Krishna back. Okay. Like this, they were discussing how to bring Krishna. But Narada Muni told them that you are the greatest devotee, right? When Narada Muni spoke like this, look at what Arjuna said. Arjuna said, yes, we are devotees, but we are not the greatest devotees. He said the greatest devotees are Vrishni. Go to Dwaraka and see how they are all dear to you, dear to Krishna. In fact, he's left us and gone to Dwaraka. Like that way he was saying. So what Guru Maharaj was trying to say was Pandavas were totally Krishna conscious, right? Srila Prabhupada, he again quoted Srila Prabhupada, his Guru Maharaj, which he gave an example. Actually, he was talking of, material couple, husband and wife, once they died at the same time. How they were, Kapila Muni was telling Dehavati in third canto. The same way, he says husband and wife both are gate to hells, because what happens, husband is very attracted to his wife, saris, gifts, children, everything, he keeps doing that. And the wife sometimes is also very attached to his husband, right? So what happens typically in a normal, and we are talking of normal material couple. So when towards the end, when he leaves the body, the husband keeps thinking of the wife and the wife keeps thinking of the husband. So what do they become? They become man and woman in the next line. So what happens to couple in Krishna consciousness? So they, of course, they love each other, but whom they are more attracted to? Krishna, because they keep Krishna in the center. So Guru Maharaj was quoting the examples that he used to go in Zoom and see such wonderful deities, wonderful offerings, how beautifully they are attached to spiritual master and Srila Prabhupada. So that way they are not ordinary couple, right? So what they do, since they are keeping Krishna in the center, they remember Krishna always. So it's very important. Guru Maharaj was saying that if it is their ordinary people, like it's very dangerous. So we must preach to ordinary people. Explain to them that is a very dangerous for you if they do not become devotees of Krishna, okay, as they have to take birth again. So if you want to come out of the cycle of birth and death, we need to be very clear. See, again, Guru Maharaj was quoting how brahmacharis are fully absorbed in Krishna Bhakti. If they have to change the ashram, see, they have this priority is very good, right? They are first of all serving full time. And if they want to change the ashram to become grahasthas, they have to be very, very strong as devotees, strong in spiritual practices. They should have the capacity to carry along, their spouses, their wife in spiritual practice, despite many ups and downs. Only those people who are strong, matured in spiritual understanding can get into ashrama. Okay. Otherwise, you can maintain brahmachari. That's, of course, a very, very mahavrata. Right. So this women of Hastinapura, the ladies, they knew the position of the Supreme Lord. They had this general knowledge that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, though he was acting like a normal being. Right. So in a way, we all are very fortunate to be connected to this parampara, and we all have become devotees of Lord Chaitanya. Okay. Once a devotee of Lord Chaitanya is automatically a devotee of Krishna. If 1 year's pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Leelas, you are all automatically in the Leela of Krishna. Okay. Which means a devotee in both Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we are devotees who enjoy Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's Leela and Krishna's Leela. So we understand these basic facts clearly, right? Which is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. We are eternal living entities, right? So even if the material universe is destroyed, we are not destroyed. We would be in the body of Mahavishnu, we would enter the body of Mahavishnu and we'll remain ourselves. Just like how the translation says, just like when we come out of the sleep, we'll still remember what to do. Same way, we begin our activity from where we had left. Right? Please note, we are not created again. We always exist. This universe is created, destroyed, annihilated, everything is fine. But we always exist as a part of Krishna. We are probably atomic part, infinite decimal, right? So, of course, it's already 6:38. Guru Maharaj gave wonderful pastimes of Mahaprabhu, where he had gone and places in Ramkeli, then Shantipur. Okay. So, we don't have time for this, but we will just summarize with few other points because there are another nice important points here. So if you see, I think I'll still say one in sometime in Srila Prabhupada, somewhere in 1969, I think I was driving to San Francisco, and one of once I think there was a Rath Yatra. Yes, now I recollect. It was a Rath Yatra, and Srila Prabhupada said, have you, I mean, it was very ecstatic kirtan going on. Srila Prabhupada came down and said, oh, did you see Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda are dancing so beautifully? Could you see? Obviously, of course, the devotee did not have that Divya Chakshu. He said, Jai Prabhupada. This is, I'm talking now, okay? He said, Jai Prabhupada, Jai Prabhupada. He was just glorifying Prabhupada. You can see how beautiful you are. So, Prabhupada, Guru Maharaj was saying this very important point. Why I said this is because even in the modern day, when we do kirtan for what? For not for our pleasure or our glorification. When we do for the pleasure of Supreme Lord, and if you're feeling some ecstasy, then Guru Maharaj says that maybe Nithai Gaur is also in your kirtan. So wonderful. I was like, when I was hearing that only, we were feeling so beautiful. How much he was having that feeling that even now, Nithai Gaur is coming and participating in our kirtan, right? So, okay. So we must share in Srimad Bhagavatam. There is many places we have this examples, at least of Ramachandra, right? When or Yudhishthira Maharaj, I think Radha was sharing one verse in that she was saying during his time, Ramachandra's time, there was no problem, no kleshas, right? So much so that even if they desired to leave the body, it could not happen. Now, is this possible in Kali Yuga, right? It is, like Guru Maharaj said, it is, if you want to have a trouble-free life, you have to have focus on Krishna, right? And then what happens? You have to chant the holy name without offenses. Okay, because why? Simple. Namana Abhinatvam, right? Lord and his holy names are non-different, right? We can invoke the presence of the Lord, right? By chanting the holy name, right? And when Guru Maharaj was saying that we can do it and we can invoke the presence of the Lord, and by chanting, he was in ecstasy. He was chanting Haribol loudly. Why I'm saying this many times is because it's not, of course, our leader keeps saying you have to hear from Srila Prabhupada, you have to hear from Guru Maharaj, right? What should we focus in the lecture? Yes, content is there. Every word he's speaking is Bhagavat Prasada, right? Everything is like, amazing lessons for us. But wow, where does Guru Maharaj like? What does he like? What are his voice modulations? What are his connotations? That is something which we focus on. Then you will come to know for what are the things Guru Maharaj's mood is happy. And then we can follow that, right? So the point is just concluding that we must have faith in the holy name. Chaitanya Charan Prabhu says that sometimes we all have faith in the Lord's power. So what do you ask? Please give me that power. You don't worry about your plan. I shall plan. It's like Duryodhana. What he says, no, don't worry. I don't need you. You just give me your, Narayana Sena. I shall fight. I know where to place them. I shall, keep it right accordingly, and then I'll win. Something like that. So we must develop the Sambandha Gyan. And we should say, I'll wait for your plan. I'll accept your plan. I shall apply the Shakti. We should not depend on our own Shakti. We should say, I'll accept your plan. I shall apply Shakti. Then I shall attain the goal. That should be our mood, right? So, this is of course a very technical words. I try to gather as much as possible. Prabhu had requested me to close at 6:40, 2-3 minutes later. There are of course only two pralayas. Srila Prabhupada has mentioned Naimitika Pralaya, Prakriti Pralaya. There are other two, Nitya and Atyantika. Maybe someone needs clarification, we'll take it. Vrajanath Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu, for your wonderful class. The purport is very elaborated.
Yes, Prabhu.
And you have given deep insights into different kinds of pralaya. So, a question to you now.
Yes.
Many people, recently we keep seeing in the TVs and newspapers that in 2020 they said, and in the 2000 year they said there was a pralaya, and they again predicted that 2020 also there will be a pralaya. So how do we understand this kind of pralayas?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you, Prabhu. I'm sure you're asking this question purely for my purification. So that's precisely I wanted to cover, but like we have one is the Prakriti Pralaya, which is 4 types of Pralaya, Prabhu. Maybe that will help us understand. That is what happens, Nitya Pralaya, firstly, easier. Every day, like you have the manufacturing day and you have also the expiry day. So death is the best example of that. When we have this Brahma's night or Naimitika Pralaya, that is a occasional dissolution. That's where Brahma throughout his day he creates, and when he sleeps and gets up and everything is destroyed. So definitely, clearly, when we know that there are 4 yugas, each yuga, there is an explanation that 432,000 years into 1, 2, 3, 4. After all that is just 1 kalpa. How many kalpas we have? All that explanation is clearly given here. It is just that every time the scientists predict something, yes, we are going through a deterioration, but that's not the end. We still have to wait for 432,000 years to complete just this Kali Yuga, and again the chain has to start back. Then we go into Prakriti Pralaya only when everything, that is your 100 years of which is what Srila Prabhupada has given us here. After the 100 years of age of Brahma, does that entire dissolution happens. Because in the first Brahma's night, that dissolution only maybe Bhuloka and that few others on the top, but not the 14 planetary system does not dissolve. So it is a very wrong understanding that with the scientists, which they say that end, we are going to see the end, and people buy some things and keep it. It's all real stupidity. Since they do not have knowledge, which is the actual knowledge from the Bhagavad Gita, this understanding comes. I hope this was.
Thank you, Prabhu, for your enlightenment. So, as you said, scientists rightly, they, with their blunt senses, with the 4 defects, they cannot able to make their theories perfect. So they may say so many things. One comet is coming from the cosmos and it will hit Earth. So far, it has never happened. So they may predict, and because the cosmos is maintained by the Supreme Lord Krishna, and he knows when to do what to do. So you have nicely mentioned the pralayas, the scientists which they say, we need not believe in them. We need to believe whatever the Supreme Lord Krishna and devotees, they said in Srimad Bhagavatam, Kali Yuga is, many people does not know Kali Yuga when it ends, but in Srimad Bhagavatam, we have reference that we 4,32,000 of years. So far, 5,550 years got over, and Baki is 4.27 lakhs of years, then only it will end the Pralaya. This is damn sure, it is confirmed. And also in the 12th canto, it is mentioned that the Supreme Lord will appear as a Kalki avatar.
Ah,
And
beautiful.
Shambhala is the place, and his father name is Vishnu Yasha, and the vehicle is, horse, and
Horse,
the
white
weapon
horse.
is, sword. Everything is very nicely mentioned. So in these words, I'm just going through the takeaway points as you have nicely
Prabhu.
mentioned, Prabhu. The Lord existed before creation. That's why Lord is not bound by the three modes of material nature, whereas we are entangled in this material world. So another point here, Supto Tita Nyaya is mentioned. What is the identity is there? That means Mayavadi, they say that Brahma Satya Jagan Mithya. That is not proper. So, and also living entity and the supreme living entity is always separate. They are not one in one. They are not all in all. So this Supto Titya Nyaya means awakening from sleep and again engaging in one's respective continuous duty. Like after Pralaya, the Supreme Lord goes into the Yoga Nidra. Afterwards also, the living entities are released after creation of another energy, and they have to take, according to their karma, they have to lead another life. So the soul is the same thing, but it takes another form. Like that, this in the purport, Srila Prabhupada gives elaborated information. Thank you very much, Prabhu, for your wonderful class.
Thank you for adding those valuable points.
Okay, we stop here the recording.